have homes on separate coasts, go dive in Greece with squids. Could have been so bleeping rich, but instead we had kids. They won't smile for a photo, they won't eat the food we choose. That's why we're heading to Parents' Lounge, drown ourselves in booze. Every day we're more exhausted, we haven't slept in years. They hit me in the nuts so bad, my eyes filled up with tears. And yes, we'd like to fake our death, go off of the grid, but the truth is we are soft and we truly love our kids. So join us every Tuesday night to laugh at all our pain. Evening in the Parents' Lounge is the cure to staying sane. Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Parents' Lounge. I'm Jamie Kaler, joined as always by Jason Gowan, and a tad tardy Kate Mulligan will be here.
Oh, late Mulligan again.
She texted us, dude, I'm alone with 3 kids. No, 2
She's
kids.
only got 2.
She's only got 2, but I think she said 3 in the text, which caught me off guard.
I wonder, she might have picked up an extra and followed her home.
She is accumulating more kids as we speak. Hey, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. We are very excited. I'm more excited tonight than I've been in a long time because it's an old friend of mine I haven't seen in a long time, and he's huge. He's a really funny comedian. Hey, if you guys are digging this and your parents, share it with other people if you can. Be sure to check us out on iTunes, and I don't know where you're watching this, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, TikTok, or wherever. But be sure to like and follow us. Would you please? We'd love it. There's Freddie B. Hey, fellas. What's up, Freddie B? Even Freddie. Freddie was seriously impressed with our guest tonight. He was.
A lot of people were. I got a lot of people they're like, how did you even get him? And I was like, I can't tell you those secrets.
Well, it's because I'm 157 years old and I've literally worked with anyone who's ever walked through Hollywood. And this gentleman and I featured for him one of my very first feature gigs at the Miami Improv. And there was a guy in the front seat, front row, who had a gun in his belt, I believe. And no one spoke English. It was a very Spanish club, and I bombed extensively. But luckily, he was there to mop up. And it wasn't so much of a bomb. The guy shot me. Like, he didn't shoot me. My guess he was close because I don't think he liked me very much. But shall we get to our guest, sir?
Of course. Yeah, I'm excited.
All right, this dude is awesome. He is known as America's favorite husband. He can speak wife fluently, so we'll need some translation.
I actually need him to translate.
I know. That's his latest special. I Speak Wife is my fave. That's the one I'm like, oh, dude, and we'll talk about that. He never calls the guys for help on a home project, and he knows better than to make his own decisions, since decision making is a privilege reserved solely for his wife. He's got 5 specials out, I believe. They're all over Netflix, Showtime. He has 2 million total social media followers. Apparently, there's a trend where everyone, young women, are mouthing his bits on TikTok. Is that
they lip sync his bits? He's everywhere over on TikTok.
Yeah. I told him I wouldn't blow up his intro too much, but I'm so impressed because this guy, nobody's funnier, nobody works harder, nobody's a better dad, and apparently he's America's favorite husband. Please welcome Steve Trevino to tonight's show.
Hey. What's up, guys?
Hey, buddy.
You guys got to help me. Jamie, send me a link because I didn't realize we're doing this live. I got to get all my people watching. So
we wondered. We didn't want to beat you up, Jason. All the links are there in the email I sent you.
I'm trying to find it right now.
Resend it, Jason. It's all right, man. Find them all. It'll be a good. We'll see how the waves of people coming in off of your social media.
And you got to forgive me. I got a 2-year-old. I got a 7-year-old. He's in jiu-jitsu. My daughter and baseball. My daughter wanted my attention today. You got to stop everything to give her some attention. And then we had a scrimmage. Had to run to the scrimmage, and then I, like you, Kate, was on my own to do bedtime routine.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, do any of you remember your bedtime routine with your parents?
It was nothing like this.
No, it was nothing like this.
They would send me upstairs and put on Hawaii Five-0 because I remember hearing the That's all. And they'd go, stay up there. And they would say, don't come down.
That's pretty much what that's what I remember. I remember my parents being like, it's time to go to bed. Go to bed.
Yeah. Brush your teeth. Go to bed.
And my son, he needs 100 head rubs, prayer, and read me a book. And my daughter, 4 books. We got to do the bath, and we got to put the lavender. Got to put the lavender. Got to put the lavender lotion on. Got to read the books. Got to rock her. She needs her blanket. She needs she needs her Mona. She calls it Mona. Got to have Mona. God forbid we lose Mona, bro. God for freaking bid that there's no Mona.
That's the Knuffle bunny, right? You got to replace the Knuffle bunny. So last summer, I was talking to a guy. I was like, oh, he was posting his summer reading list, and it was like The Grapes of Wrath and Moby Dick and some other book. And he's like, oh, I'm looking to knock out these 10 books over the summer. He's like, what's your reading list? And I was like, Dragons Love Tacos, and I'm going to read it 1 million times. Yeah. That's my whole reading list for the summer. By the way, Dragons Love Tacos 2, worst sequel ever.
Ever.
Where does the story go from there?
There is no. It's like sometimes it's just a perfect book. It doesn't need a sequel, but money made it happen.
That's all. Yeah, it's just a cash grab at that point.
So, Steve, I couldn't help but notice in your special, I Speak Wife, that your wife is the opposite of all of our wives because
especially mine.
She said she got hot. Every other guy's wife I know gets cold and has to turn.
I get so hot. No, I'm hot. I sweat all the time.
It's a whole thing. Sometimes it's hot. Sometimes it's cold. Sometimes, it's a whole thing. And I never know what it is. And somehow I'm supposed to know what it is. And I'm hot. Turn it down. I'm cold. And I'm just like, well, what are we today? Because I'm always just comfortable.
Yeah. Well, you're probably right now. Is she wearing a tank top right now? That's the real question. Is she matching your style?
She's out with her girlfriend, having dinner, leaving me with 2 kids.
My wife's out too. My wife's out tonight as well, having dinner. Yeah.
Jamie, look, my biggest issue with my marriage is the double standard. That's my biggest issue.
Tell us.
Well, that's every marriage, dude. This is going to be a really intense night for Kate. I feel like a lot of stuff.
You can already see it on her face that it's coming.
Taking out my earrings. I'm like, go ahead, tell me what's the.
I get home and the wife's like, going to dinner with Christina, and I'm like, okay. There's no way in a million years that I can walk in the room and be like, Jamie and I are going to dinner later. It wouldn't fly.
What would happen to you?
Do what?
What would happen to you if you said that to her?
Oh, text messages. I would not enjoy my dinner. I would get, how dare you? And why didn't you tell me? And this wasn't on the schedule. And you left me with the kids. And it would have been, and don't drink too much. And, I don't even like Jamie. Why would you even go out with Jamie? I don't even like that guy. Okay. He's nothing.
She does. Trouble. My wife does say that about my friends that don't have kids. She's like, because I have friends who are still bachelors, and she's like, yeah, you can't. I don't like those guys.
Because they don't get it.
They didn't make stupid decisions in their life. Is that why? Because they're the smartest guy in the room, and they might convince me of my. No.
But you can't talk to people that don't have kids.
You can't. There's just no way. And it's so funny you say that because my wife and everybody's wife is exactly the same. Like when my wife came home and she goes, oh, I'm going out to dinner. I go, oh, nice. Have fun. Okay.
Enjoy.
And if I said I'm going out to dinner, she'd go, oh, wouldn't that be nice?
Jamie,
wouldn't it be nice to be you?
I'm going to push back a little and I'm going to say, I don't think everybody's wife is the same, but I do think husbands do tend to be as chill as you guys are saying. I can't think of a husband I know who'd be like, no way, you need to stay here. But I have to say, if Dickie, like, first of all, like my husband, if Steve, you're going to be like, who's Dickie? But my husband, if he came home and he was like, it is because he gives me so much leeway. I give it back. And I'm not just like complimenting myself. I think the truth is that I do think men tend to be more generous with the time for their wives. I do think that's probably
and more accepting and less judgy.
Well, okay.
I actually want my wife to I want her to be happy.
Yeah.
I want my wife to be happy and have a good time.
Yes.
I don't feel like that is reciprocated.
Okay, can I just tell you something just to toot my own horn here?
Sure.
Dickie's been doing this Writers Guild program every Saturday. So in addition to the fact that he just became a showrunner on a show and I don't see the man ever, he now spends every Saturday from 8 until 4 in this class. And it's really a big deal that he got into this thing. And I said to him, the boys better not see you any Saturday. You better go out afterwards because you need to blow off steam and you need to be networking with these people. If they're going out, you need to go get a beer. The last 2 hours of the night don't help me with the boys anyway. So stay the F out, have fun, do your thing, because guess what? Then you know what I get? A very grateful man that's happy and has a couple drinks in him when he comes home. I'm happy for that.
Do you know what I heard? I heard you already didn't do shit, so you might as well stay out.
Oh, you totally speak wife. You spepe wife.
No, that's not it at all. You guys know
there's a little backhandedness in it.
When you're in the middle of a bedtime, what's the worst thing?
It.
What's the worst thing? When you're in the middle of bedtime routine and the other spouse comes home. Is that not the worst?
The worst.
It derails.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. You guys agree with me. If you're
and my wife can't make more noise in the shoes. Like the shoes, it's like she's got Frankenstein loafers on, just pounding her way.
Oh, yeah, and this is what my wife does. My wife, she'll wake up early to let me sleep in, and it's daddy sleeping. Daddy is very comfortable sleeping in right now. Daddy sleep, and I'm like, I'm up. I heard you. Well, you didn't have to get up. Why did you get up? I'm like, I don't know, because you were in my bed going, Daddy sleeping as loud as you can.
It is pretty crazy. I mean, I've seen memes where the guy gets up early and he's a ninja sneaking out. And then, the wife gets up and she's like, bang, bang, bang on her way out the door.
See, and with twins, I have a sentry. So if one of them wakes up, he wakes everyone else up. Like he's a meerkat sentry.
Okay, hold on. You have twins?
I have twin 4-year-old sons.
See, I can't even talk. I don't even know how. Yeah. I don't know how people do it with twins or triplets.
Our buddy Shane, we do these things we do for Sirius XM that have been playing. He's our sound guy and he plays music for us. He has triplets. Dude,
I don't. And everything that people say about that second child has come true for us.
Yeah.
My first one is a saint. You ask him to do something, he does it. I raise my voice, I scare the crap out of him. This new one, she's a female too, so
this new one.
They're the worst.
How old is she, Steve?
I have a 7-year-old and a 2-year-old.
Boy, seven are savage anyway.
Dude, the 2-year-old, I raised my voice to her, and she looked at me and went.
You know what? I kind of respect that in a weird way. I kind of dig her energy.
Dude, the crappy part is that I shushed.
Yeah.
Like, she was like, and I was like, I think she shushed me.
Well, don't you think they definitely have us trained. I keep fighting it. It's so funny. Here's what I was talking to my 2 kids today, and I said, I love everything about parenting pretty much, except for the fact that I have to repeat myself so many times. I am such a creature of logic. I'm like, I say something once, just do it. Just do it, man. But I'll have to say it like literally 100 times. And then by the end, I'm yelling, and my kids are like, why are you yelling? And I'm like, because I had to say it so many times, man. You're killing me.
Right. Well, and then they go, whoa, yep. Dad, why are you freaking out? Like, bro, how many times do I have to tell you to take a shower?
Well, the shower one, dude, my kids don't brush their teeth.
There's new teeth coming in. Those are disposable teeth.
My kids are 8 and 9. Mine are 8 and 9, and that's their new teeth. And I keep saying, hey, these are your teeth, Chief.
These are it. Yeah.
It's not a my problem anymore. This is a you problem. You got to fix it, or you're gonna have. My daughter has beautiful big lips, Hannah. She's gonna be scorching hot when she's older.
Weird flex, bro. Weird flex.
She doesn't take care of her lips. They're covered. She looks like the mummy. Chapped, like constantly, because she licks her lips.
So we've given her a chapstick like every day for 2 weeks. Won't use it. Won't, like, I had to hold her down with Aquaphor and like rub it on her face. She gets it off. And I go, doesn't it hurt? Like they're cracked and bleeding? Like they're cracked and she's peeling the skin off and blood's coming out. And I go, what do I have to do to get you they have it. It's called chapstick. Put it on your lips. And she's like, won't do it. To the point where
and then after a hard day and you lay them in bed and they look at you and go, you're the best daddy. And then you go, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
You win. You just got me.
You won the day.
That one little moment was.
I'm a sucker for a compliment.
Oh,
you say that now. Wait till they're older. Wait till they're older. Then you'll be like,
my son will be like, Dad, you're such the best dad, and I'm like, oh, I did curse you in my head earlier, and I wanted to kick you through a wall, but now let's hug. It's.
I tell them sometime, I go, I don't believe you. You got to say it better. Say it better.
Sell it.
You got to sell this. You can't just throw this into the wind. You got to.
It's it's the hey, how are you?
Hey, Steve. One of our regulars, narcolepsy, was equating the people who have pets. Now that you are a father of two, you know, when you see the people and they go, "Well, I have a kid too," and you're like, "You do?" And they're like, "Yeah, it's a cocker spaniel, and yeah." It's like, how do you feel about people who try to claim pets are kids?
So I literally just wrote a joke about it, and I go, here's advice to people who don't have kids. Here's things not to say to people with kids, and that's one of them, right? Where they go, well, I have a kid and it's a dog, and I go, you have no idea how much of an insult that is to my wife. Did you carry that dog in your body for 9 months? Did you have to give up caffeine? Did you have to give up sugar and alcohol? And then the last 3 months, my wife had to sleep in a chair because she couldn't breathe when she slept on her back or her side. And now when she exercises and sneezes, she pees a little. So F you and your dog. How about that?
That's a good bit, dude.
If my dog gets hit by a car, there is no investigation. Okay. Do not compare your animal to the miracles of my life.
Narcolepsy has a solution for me. Chapstick lollipops. I love it. All right. I'm gonna get. We gave her every flavor. She just went, and she won't brush her teeth. I don't know what to do anymore.
But it's also the same thing when these couples without kids go, "Our marriage is hard," and I'm like, you don't even know how hard your marriage is going to become. You know, oh, we're so tired. Why? Because you binged watch Yellowstone. That's why you're tired. My daughter got sick and puked and shit on the wall at 4 a.m. Don't tell me about I'm tired. And then my son's over there going, it stinks, Dad. Yeah, I'm aware, son.
Yeah.
Now, I can't go to bed now, Dad. Can you rub my hair? Yeah, let me clean the shit off the wall and then I'll come in and rub your hair.
Yeah.
So
I'm always amazed when people they've been married for like 25. Yeah, we've been married for 25 years. You never had kids? And you're like, no, we never had kids, just married for 20. You're like, why are you still together? Like, I don't understand why any couple stays together if they don't have kids. Is that crazy?
Do you think it would be so much easier?
Oh, it's got to be so much easier.
It would be, of course, so much easier, but it also would get boring, wouldn't it? Like, wouldn't you just get bored and be like...
But it's boring with kids, too. It's boring to... And the difference is that as soon as my sons came along, I had no use for my husband anymore.
My wife literally told me that. She said, the love I got from you, I now get from them. I don't need you anymore. She's verbally explained that to me. And I get it.
Well,
there's some things that he can do for me that the children cannot, to be clear. We're not that kind of family.
No, not that.
Here's how sick I am. I go on the road, and then for that first day, I'm like, you know what? This is nice. I'm making my own decisions. I'm not saying no a million times. Put that down. Stop doing that.
Get your shoes on. Get your shoes on.
Right.
Get your shoes on.
But then I wake up Saturday, and there's something wrong with me that I go, I wish they were all here. Like I miss the chaos. And why is it so quiet? And I want my family here.
Yeah, no. Yeah. It's a weird, it's Stockholm syndrome. You're so used to being tortured that you don't Your body doesn't understand not being tortured.
The way that we've been talking about people, like the people with kids being offended by people with pets saying they have kids, people with actual Stockholm syndrome that were prisoners are very offended by this parallel right now. Wait a minute. I was actually in an Al-Qaeda prison, and you're saying that parenting is the same.
Well, it's like,
not a lot of our fan base, so I think we're okay.
You don't know that.
I would say like parenting is actually harder myself.
It's like when Tom Brady says, I get on that football field, it's like going to war. Relax, Tom.
Relax, Tom. Relax, buddy. You're gonna come back off that field. That's a guarantee.
Pump the brakes, big guy.
I love that we can't even say stuff like that anymore. Like, you really have to be like whatever you say, half the crowd is gonna light you up for it, right?
But
like
also, that's an asshat thing to say, Jamie. You can admit Tom Brady,
dude,
who gets
going
paid
to war,
billions of dollars.
An old trope. People have said that we're going into battle. Come on, that's like a sports analogy.
But it's I step on that field and it's like I'm going to war, sir.
Let's relax.
Relax.
I get it. War. I get it.
No. War is so specific.
But I'll be honest with you, man. I love being a dad. I love it. It is to me my favorite thing that has ever happened to me. Yeah. I love being a dad. I love coaching Little League. I coach jiu-jitsu. I love being with my kids and my wife. And
what don't you like about it then? What don't you like about it?
I don't like the double standard from my wife. I don't.
Have you spoken to her? Because why can't we rectify this situation so that my wife can be happy for my life and we can? Why does this have to be so tumultuous?
It's always right. She tells me, you better tell your family that they need to let us know when they're coming, and they need to RSVP. Meanwhile, her family knocks on the door whenever they want. And and my sister shows up because her daughters have a cheer tournament. My sister shows up, and then I told you that, why did she come? And she just came out. And I'm like, wait a minute. Your family was here yesterday with 0 calls, 0 notice, and that's okay. But I have to live by a different set of rules. That's my biggest problem.
Dude, you got 5 specials. It's time to build the moat. You need a moat. You need like a giant electrified fence. Come on, man. You need a gated
keep the
community.
Family out, or to keep what? Who are we keeping?
Everybody.
Out?
Everybody.
No,
everybody. Okay.
I am. Everybody's welcome at my house. You don't have to call. You don't have to write. You can stay here. You're everybody's welcome. Her family, my family. Everybody's welcome. My family's welcome. And I like your family, but they need to let us know when they're coming. And that's when I go crazy, when I go, hey, why do I have to live by a certain set of rules? And I did a bit in I think it might have been in I Speak Wife where I talk about that, where her parents show up, there's confetti, there's, oh my God, my parents are here. My parents show up and it's, and I go, well, where's the confetti? Well, I'm happy they're here. Well, maybe you should tell your face.
Dude, we solved that problem. We moved to the other side of the country, so both of our families are East Coast. So it's really a drag for us. And my wife a lot of times gives me grief because I dragged her to California, dragged her kicking and screaming. Of course. She resents me sometimes because she's like,
why are your parents so dead? They don't help out at all.
Yeah, I know. Very much so. And I go, let's try. I go, they're still trying.
Yeah.
Oh, and I'm the one going dark tonight, Mulligan.
No one said you were going dark. I obviously hold that title.
I mean, come on, Stockholm Syndrome. Let's bring it home.
I don't know whose parents are dead, but that was effed up. I'm going to be honest with you.
Jamie's are.
Mine are long gone. But I'm 100 years old. I had kids in my 50s.
The kid's coming in.
The shitty part is I'm the one that killed his parents. So if you really want to get dark.
Well, that Miami show escalated quickly.
Miami escalated. Oh, dude.
No, and then when it comes to the kids, it's just the moments of chaos that I just wish weren't chaos.
Yes.
When I take them on the road and I've got my son, my road manager, my assistant, my wife, my daughter, and it is just straight up chaos. And it is my daughter's running down the freaking aisle, and we've got to catch her, or she's screaming her head off, and my son is asking for the tablet, and he's going, "Where's my tablet? I can't connect my headphones. My headphones died. My tablet's not working." My daughter's screaming her head off, kicking the back of somebody's chair, and I'm just going, "Oh my God, what did I get into?" Those are the moments, right?
Well, and it gets worse because the whole tablet thing now is a whole. I was standing next to a guy at the school assembly the other day, and my daughter's in 4th grade, and his daughter's in 5th, and he goes, "Hey, when are you doing the porn talk?" And I go, "What?" And he goes, "Yeah, 5th grade is typically when they start to see it." Yeah. Did I not tell you this, Mulligan?
He did say it before.
He goes in 5th grade that the kids start to see it.
How? It's because other kids have like older siblings and then show them.
Some kids have a phone. In 5th grade, some kids will have a phone. And that phone will have access to the internet. Yeah.
It's the bus, bro. It's the bus.
It's the bus. We don't have buses in LA. It's so funny. It's the only good thing about not having buses.
True. That is kind of true.
My son gets off the bus. He goes, "Dad, what's a hooker?" I'm like, "What?"
And then he said, "I'm going to need $200, by the way, Dad."
Yeah.
And
what's a hooker? And I need $200. And do you have any blow? Do you have blow? What is blow? But I need some. Yeah.
I told him, I messed up, and I told him, I said, "Those are girls that dress fancy." That's I didn't know what else to say. You can't tell a 7-year-old, "Give me blow," right? You can't. I mean,
no,
dude. 2 months later, 2 months, my wife's going on a mommy night out. All her girlfriends show up to pick her up, and my son goes, "Dad, are those hookers?" I'm like, "Oh my God, yes, they are, son. Actually, yes,
some, definitely some."
They just don't do it for money. They do it for Louis Vuittons, Jimmy Choo's, Red Bottom.
Which is better than money. The resale value on a Chanel bag apparently is very high. I've been
told. Very high.
But my wife's like, "Oh yeah, okay. What's happening here?" That's lucky the teacher wasn't dressed fancy. I mean, you're lucky the teacher didn't come in dressed fancy one day, and the kid's like, "Hey, are you a hooker?" Wait, what the?
Well, you look like a nice hooker. You look like a really nice hooker.
That's funny.
But it is that thing where when I go on the road, my wife goes, "You're so lucky. You're so lucky that you get to go on the road." And I go, "Hey man, I get depressed on the road. I miss my family on the road, and I miss the Little League game, and I miss my daughter's little dance recital, and I miss all those things." And I've always told her, we all have our cross to bear, all of us. There's positives for you and negatives for you. There's positives for me and there's negatives for me. I don't think any of them are any better than the other, because there's nothing more than I would love for my wife to go, "Hey, you go do my act. You go take the pictures, and you go on the road. I'll stay home. Yeah. I'll go to the Little League game. I'll go hang out, because I see what you have is just as good as what I have. It's not better. It's not worse. My wife thinks it is. My wife's like, "You're so lucky. And Friday night you're at the casino." And I'm like, "What do you want me to do?
Yeah.
Sulk in my room for 3 days?"
Yeah.
I mean,
I know, because it's really only fun for about 2 hours, and that's exactly the time of the show, and the rest of it's really a drag.
You guys, I'm realizing my husband maybe trained me really well, because when we first started dating, he was unemployed. So I would just be getting texts from him at work, and he'd be like, I just shotgunned a beer for the first time ever." And I was like, this guy. And I'd be like, "All right, good for you. That's fantastic. I'm going to get back to being an accountant now." Like, it was just, and so I don't know. I'm just unfazed by it now. It just seems like we get different lives. If we all had the same life, it'd be so boring.
It would be boring.
But here's what I do think. I think it is important, like the teamwork. Like I always talk about the fact that it's, we're a corporation at this point. Like every family is a company, and it's tricky with 2 CEOs, because like even my wife was gone for a week, and then she came home, and I kind of had everything kind of duked out. Like everything was in motion, what was happening, and all of a sudden it all changed. And I was like, "Don't change anything. Don't. We're not baking chocolate chip cookies at 8:30 at night. I know you want to spend time with the kids, but we're not putting chocolate chip cookies into these kids at 8:30 at night. I don't know what to tell you." So you got to, and then I'm the bad guy who's like, Daddy says we can't make chocolate chip cookies at 8:30 at night. I'm like, oh, don't do that.
Yeah,
don't do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, but me and my wife, a personality. She makes lists. There's plans. She does research.
That's why you fell in love with her, though, dude. Because that's why
yeah.
she's powerful. Yeah.
And I'm the So when it comes to like my son, for example, I don't ever. I tell my son, these are the 3 things you need to get done. You got to get them done before bedtime. And my wife is more, now, do your homework now. I need you to do it now. And my son's looking at her like, dude, chill out. And then my wife gets mad because she's like, my son, Garrett's so mad at me, and Garrett gets mad at me. And I'm like, because you're freaking bossy, bro. Like, I just tell Garrett, hey, man, these are the things that need to get done before 6:30.
You are the guy on the road because I'm your wife. I'm your wife. I've actually, you know what? I'm going to agree with your wife on this one because I've tried that approach. Even tonight, I tried it. I'm like, all right. My daughter goes, come on, trust me. And I go, I can't trust you. I said, and I did the same thing. I said, I need these things done before you go to bed. And invariably, most times I'll walk back in. She goes, oh, I totally forgot about that. And I was like, of course you did, because you're watching TV and your brain just shut off. So it is hard.
But what I do is if he takes a shower before 6:30, he gets another 15 minutes to stay up.
Oh, interesting.
So if he takes a shower before 6:30 without me telling him, he gets another 15 minutes past his bedtime. He gets
Isn't
the
it
home.
Insane. We basically are every parent. We're blackmailers. That's all we are. We're blackmailers. We hold things for ransom that kids want, and when we dole it out, specifically when they behave properly. That's it.
Yep. Just rewards, like a little dog, right? Speaking of dogs, like, hey, here's your treat. Good job. You did what you're supposed to do.
I don't want to be that guy, though. And I tell my kids that all the time. I go, I don't want to be this guy. Stop making me yell. Just clear your plates. I've told you every day, every meal for your entire life. Clear your plate. That's it. Pick it up, put it in the sink. That's all I'm asking. And then just tonight, they were eating dinner. They got up, they walked to the other room. All their plates were on the table. I was like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I can't have it.
My thing is they have the audacity to also look at you as if you have somehow shocked them in some way about doing these things that you do literally every single day.
Every day.
What do you mean I have to take a shower? Every day, dude? Every single day.
Oh, no, we don't shower. I don't think do we shower every day? I don't think so.
And so that's why I built a chicken coop, and it is his job to take care of the chicken coop. He takes care of the chickens, and that's everything. He's got to bring in the trash on Tuesday. He has to help cut the yard when I cut the yard. I mean, I put that little crapper to work.
Do you have a chore board?
No chore board, but and then he goes, look, Dad, I helped you cut the yard. And I go, buddy, I'm not going to reward you for things you're supposed to do.
Yeah, that's my thing. Me too.
Like, you're supposed to do that. You're supposed to check on the chickens. You're supposed to collect the eggs every day. You're supposed to go out and sell those eggs. That's his job. And it's like, dude, you're supposed to do it.
I'm sorry. What nursery rhyme are we in? Your son goes and sells eggs?
Yes. So
eggs are a hot commodity right now.
By the way, there's nothing more delicious than a fresh chicken egg, but I'm just like very unclear how that process works.
He's 7. He just goes to the local. He knows the hookers. He goes down to the local hooker stand and sells them eggs. Actually,
you're in Florida?
No, I'm in Texas.
Texas. Okay.
So he collects about 3 dozen eggs a week, and he gets $5 a dozen. And he has his little customers, and he gets in his little Polaris. He has a little mini Polaris, and he drives around the neighborhood selling his little eggs, and he keeps the money. But
how is that kid not a YouTube star? The egg delivery kid? Jeez, you got to blow that kid up,
There's
man.
A show there somewhere.
That's a show.
I'm like fascinated with chickens. How many chickens do you have that are giving you 5 dozen eggs a week?
We have about 6 chickens right now.
They have good output.
I got 3 chicks to add to it. But yeah, they produce about 2 eggs every. Each chicken produces about 2 eggs a day for us, almost 1 to 2 a day. And then Garrett goes in there and collects them and
Yes,
cleans
yeah.
it. And
I was gonna say, does he have to clean up? Because the thing other people think that the other things people don't know is like the eggs fresh out of a chicken are filthy.
but you want to leave them like that because you can leave them unrefrigerated for days.
Oh, okay.
If
But
you
then
do that,
before the person uses it, they have to wash it before they
no.
crack it.
If they want to put it in the fridge and they want it to last for weeks,
Oh, okay.
then you wash it.
Wash it. Okay.
You know, but he has his go-to customers. You know, they call us and they're like, "Hey, send Garrett. We need more eggs." And
That's that's like a college. By the time he's going to college, man, he's having a pretty good day with that much money.
Well, we make him save 60% and he can spend 40. That's the deal. I mean, and then literally, yesterday he's like, "Dad, book fair. I got $40 for the book fair." I'm like, "Go for it." He's got his own money. He does his own thing.
That's
At
awesome.
7.
That's so smart,
Dude,
Steve.
you might not just be America's favorite husband. You might be America's favorite dad. Jeez, man, that is pretty smart stuff. I like what's happening down there.
Bob Saget's furious, but that's fine. That's fine, Kaylor.
That's why he died.
That's why he died. Thank you, Steve. Thank you for saying it.
He was America's favorite dad?
Yeah.
Well, no, I tell people all the time,
From Full
when it comes to chickens, there's something at stake, right? We've lost chickens before because a coyote or a fox got in there or a raccoon.
Oh, that's so sad.
And I tell him, I'm like, buddy, you don't give them water, you don't give them food, they're going to die. So when there's something at stake, he's like, I don't want my chickens to die. So he's like on it because there's a life there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it makes him, you ask him to take in the trash every Tuesday. I gotta dude, why are the trash cans still outside?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna send my twins down to be parented by Steve.
I know.
Joey Steeler says, did Steve say the hooker fair? No, I think he said
the book fair.
I mean, there's probably a hooker fair in Dallas, I would imagine.
Oh, there's gotta be a hooker fair.
There's definitely a hooker fair down there.
No,
actually, Freddie B says Bill Cosby was America's favorite dad as well. So maybe
he
not
wasn't
a great
favorite though.
title.
He was just America's
Let me
dad.
get your dream.
Wasn't a
That's
favorite.
a good joke, Freddie. That's funny.
What happens when the chickens stop laying? We get more chickens. That's what we do.
Well, it's so funny because the only reason I know anything about chickens is our neighbors have some, and
it's such an LA thing.
One of them stopped producing, so now they just have a chicken as a pet who's adorable, but also like there is part of me that's like, y'all gonna eat her or what? Like, what's the deal here?
You trying to lure into your yard, the mulligan?
Yeah, I'm just like, I mean, listen, those eggs were good.
It depends on weather. It depends on the food that they're eating. It depends on, even if the age, if they're happy. I mean, there's a lot that goes on. But I mean, I have 12 acres, and
yours are happy.
Everything we eat, my son, I hunt, so we kill a deer and we process it, and my son knows about that, and we eat.
That's awesome.
We eat the deer all year. Venison is what we eat, and then we eat the chicken eggs, and we're gonna put in a garden, and hopefully everything that we get, we grow, and we get right here.
You should.
I know a lot of people think that sounds awesome, and I visually it sounds fantastic. Like, oh, that sounds great. But I grew up like with my father having a garden and taking care of a big plot of land in New Hampshire, and I'm always like, that's a lot of work, dude.
Oh,
that's a lot of work,
dude. I don't sleep, man. Today I was in the yard all day because spring is right around the corner. From the minute I wake up, my schedule is get the kids awake, take them to school, come home, jujitsu from 9 to 10, and then I usually podcast our interviews, our phone calls. Then I'm outside. Then my son gets home at 3:30. Monday's jujitsu with him. Tuesday's baseball. Wednesday's jujitsu. Thursday's baseball, and it just never ends. And I don't remember the last time I watched a full movie straight through. Like it's impossible.
Yeah.
No.
Does your wife work?
My wife works for the company for us.
Oh, that's great.
So she manages all the social media teams.
Oh,
She manages the finances. She manages the publicist. Great. She manages. I try to do nothing but tell dick jokes and be in the yard. That's my goal.
That's great.
It's a good goal. And actually,
good.
at the good split of the job. That's a good. Yeah, it's great. It's great when you have somebody like that where you guys are kind of a corporation together. That's awesome. Yeah.
Well, and the weird part, man, is people are so threatened by it. It's unbelievable. You know, when I sit down with somebody and I go, "Hey, my wife is my partner," and they're like, well, what?" I'm like, "Yeah, my wife is my partner in this. She's my teammate. She is the CEO, if you will, of my comedy company," and it blows their minds. And there is the transition.
Gaffigan's the same way.
Yeah.
Jeannie's a huge partner. I sat with her one time and she took notes of his show, like he was facing one way more than the other, and it was like she was absolutely right. I was like, it's really nice to have a director. Like sometimes you're like, it honestly is hard. That was the other hardest thing about being a comic is like there's no one to tell you like, hey, try this or do this. You just like kind of on your own, man. So it's nice to have another voice.
Well, especially for me, because I am very macho, I am very country, I am very old school. So I need her for that to keep me on the line.
Yeah.
You know, she as a female, she'll say, Steve, that was really a shitty thing to say about women. Don't say that. Change it. Try to say this. You know, I'm doing a joke right now about Little League, and I have a kid on my team that I don't know if he's gay, but it really looks like he's gay. And Renee was like, it sounds a little homophobic. So either get rid of it or make sure that you let the audience know that you are not homophobic, that you're not mad at the kid, you're actually mad at the dad for not seeing what you see. So that was a huge note for me because I don't want to come out as homophobic because I'm not. And the point of the joke was, hey, dad, this kid doesn't belong here, doesn't want to be here. And it's very clear to everybody else that you're pushing this kid to do something that he does not want to do. That was the premise.
Well, I see that. I coach soccer and I've coached a few other things, and it's not, it's just the kid who's like, this kid does not want to be here, man.
Right.
But the parents and the parents on the sideline going, get in there, get in. And you're like, dude, what are you doing? I know. It's crazy, isn't it? I mean, it must be crazy, especially in Texas. It's got to have a little.
Dude, it is heartbreaking where, and this kid that I'm talking about, you could not, I mean, he bakes cookies for the team.
Oh, bless.
He's a sweetheart, but he does not want to play bait. And the dad's over there, come on. And I'm like, buddy, dude, go pick an instrument. He doesn't have to be an athlete.
Yeah.
Put him in drama, get him an instrument, get something, not this.
Actually, Chef's pretty good.
Right.
You know what's funny, dude? I took home ec in high school. I was like the only dude in the home ec, and all the guys were like, "Hey, man,
the ratio was in your favor. May the odds ever be in your favor."
Same reason I did yoga, by the way. I did a lot of yoga.
Solid move, by the way.
Solid move. And all the dudes were giving me grief, like, "What's the matter with you, man? You don't want to go to metal shop?" I go, "It's not my jam. I don't love. I actually like cooking. I really like cooking."
Fun.
I know. So I learned to cook a little bit in high school, and guys were really vicious about it. I was like, "Hey, man, why do you care in the first place?
Right? Why does it bother you?
Why does it bother you that I want to learn to cook?" But I wish I could go back and even be more aggro about like, "What are you doing, dude?" But that was New Hampshire.
Go enjoy hanging out with all the dudes in metal shop.
I know.
I'll be hanging out with the chicks. So you let me know who's smarter here.
It is funny though, man. Especially like your kids are 2 and 7. Each year, I feel like I go, all right, I got it. Okay, I got it. And then this whole new wave of problems unveils itself, and you're like, oh, no, yeah, okay, here we are. And then you go, I got it. And then again, you're like, oh, okay, something else has changed. Oh my God.
It's so interesting too, gender-wise. I was at a birthday party this weekend with everybody from my son. My son's also 7, going on 8, with his class. And when it was time to sing happy birthday, the little girl whose birthday it was, her best friend was hugging her the whole time. And I was like, oh my God, I'm like, oh, it just doesn't occur to me that like my son doesn't hug his friends. He wouldn't hug them while he's getting it. I'm like, that's so sweet. She's like, yeah, but then they always have drama. And I was like, not in 2nd grade. And she was like, oh no, absolutely. These two aren't talking for weeks. The moms had to get involved. Now these two aren't talking. And I was like, oh my God, that's like the one thing that my boys don't tend to have fights with other boys, but they also don't hug them. So there's like trade-offs, but it's wild. Like that's already happening in 2nd grade. Jamie, your girls have that? Were there
Let me.
fighting?
I'm losing power. Let me plug in.
Oh yeah,
All
yeah.
right, plug it in. Yeah, absolutely. My kids are very similar. It's so crazy. Yeah, I would totally agree with that, Mulligan.
Yeah.
We're dealing with it right now with Jason first grade with one particular kid who's just a nasty bully.
Well, there's bullies, but then this is like friends fighting.
That's how it started. They were friends, and now it's
and
become
now
a
they're
bullying
fighting.
situation.
But don't you feel like, I mean, even in Hannah's grade, it's like, I'm not talking to that girl. We're not friends now.
It like rotates out.
And then a week later, they're like
Yes.
besties again.
Yes.
She's like, "Can I have a sleepover with so and so?" And I go, weren't you and she fighting? But I feel like that's normal because, and I try to tell her all the time. I go, these kids that you think are going to be your best friends for life, maybe. Odds are probably not, because as soon as you all diverge and go to your interests that you really love the most, your best friends are going to be the kid from swim team with you, or the kid that does the same thing you do, not the kid who sat next to you in third grade. But that's, you can't.
But does it also give you, for me at least, it gives me perspective now as a parent for a couple of reasons. The times that I've been picked on and bullied, and the times that I was the bully to a kid. And now I look at it and go, God, man, like I couldn't imagine that happening to my kid.
I know.
We were so mean to this one kid in our neighborhood, and he was a little younger than us, and all he wanted to do was play with us. And we ragged him and picked on him and ran him off all the time. And I couldn't imagine like my son coming to me and going, yeah, you know that group of kids down the street? They shit on me every time I go over there. It would be so heartbreaking. To me,
yeah.
And to have the parent perspective, which is why we leave our kids my son's in public school. And that's exactly why. And I told my wife, can we put our kid in private school? Yeah. But then we surround him with a bunch of rich kids that are all smart and all great and all have great clothes and all have money. Or I can put him in public school where, he's got this little girl in his class who's a little person who has to use a little walker, and he has another kid with autism, and teach my kid those lessons of, hey man, you need to be sweet to those kids and you need to be kind. So that's why we keep them in public school.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice also because I will tell you the animals. I think it's important for kids to have some contact with animals because it shows empathy. Like we have a dog and my daughter's always, and she takes care of the neighbor's cat, and she's had like hamsters, and she's talked about being a vet, and she's so empathetic towards animals that I think it translates then as a person to show empathy for others, which I think some people just simply do not have, which is shocking to me.
The irony of all of this is
that's called Hollywood, Jamie.
It is a little bit. Maybe politics as well. We're not sure, but there's some evil out there.
I just want to actually editorialize what Jamie just said. Jamie's like, we've got a dog that's not allowed in the house that lives in our garage. True. And it teaches my daughter empathy.
He does. She just took him out tonight. He has to. Listen, I'll tell everyone again, we have a dog. He's a puggle. He's 18. My wife never trained him. He had the run of the roost, and he just crapped in the house or whatever. So he has peed in our house, and he always pees by the stove, like under this hot stove, like 20 times, to the point where finally I was like, dude, I'd put him in the garage every time for a couple of days, and I bring him back in. And if my wife didn't feed him immediately from her plate before she ate her own food, he would go right to the stove, lift his leg, and piss under the stove. And I was like,
that's
first of all, kind of genius for a dog. But as you also know from my last album, he peed in my mouth. So we,
that's that's gangster. That is gangster.
Dude, he's 18 years old, and yes, we have him set up with a little.
And that wasn't a red flag for you, Jamie, with your wife, that she fed her dog before she ate with a fork from her plate.
That should have been a red flag.
Looking back, there's so many red flags. But also, listen, there were red flags she should have seen right out of the chute. She didn't see any of my red flags.
She just saw red hair. She's like, well, that's it.
Jamie, I knew you were white, but I didn't know you were feed the dog with a fork white. That's a whole nother white.
Feed the unseasoned food.
Dude, I am.
Black comics have a whole bit about your wife.
No, how's it go?
You know how these white people be? They be licking that dog on the mouth. They drive people crazy. White people crazy.
Dude, I can't believe some people let their dogs sleep in their beds because I don't know if you know this, dogs don't wear underwear. And when they sit, their little cinnamon ring just puts a little mark on where. And who would let that dog sit on its pillow? It's crazy.
Dude, I had a dog that for whatever reason, every time me and the wife were having sex, it was, he'd get the, and I'm like, now, really now, my ass is in the air and all I hear is,
well, that's why he was getting sick. He was nauseous from the sight of your ass. It feels
right.
like.
And then
he was empathizing with your wife. Who's to say?
You're doing it wrong. Turn her around.
I always hate waking, like looking down on one of the dogs.
That's the greatest punchline of all time, man. Tell me that's that's got to be in a special. Is that in a special?
Yeah, we're gonna have to put that somewhere.
Dude. Dude, when
hard.
the dog, because I've had that joke, because we've all dated girls, and the 3 dogs would come out and lick my feet. That's the tag, is you're doing it wrong. Turn her around. Oh, dude, that's gold.
Well, no, the problem is that dog is no longer with us. So, I don't know about you, Jamie, but I always try to make my stand-up true to life.
Of course.
You know, so it's hard to go, I used to have a dog. Let me tell you the story, right? So I try to make sure that everything I say on stage is real and honest. You know, I don't make up extra siblings. I don't make up extra anything. This is my life. This is my wife. These are my kids.
Dude, I can't even do bits from before I had the kids. They just they don't resonate anymore. Like if I talked about like my single days of like out boozing and dating, I'm like, it so doesn't ring true that I can't even tell those jokes much anymore.
Well, not only that, the audience looks at you and goes, come on, guy, right? With your wedding.
They totally do.
They
can feel it. They're like, that's not you, buddy. That's funny.
But you know, I think that is why my stand-up resonates, is because I am me on stage and I am telling my story that's happening to me now on stage, and they know when they see me that it's real.
How did the TikTok trend start where girls were doing your bits?
Dude, who knows, man?
Did you just open it one day and you were like, holy cow, is somebody doing my bit?
Man, I just started getting messages I wasn't even on TikTok. Somebody just started doing it. And then I started getting messages from friends that are like, you are everywhere.
That's so amazing.
Everywhere.
They're like, I hear your voice. And I was at Home Depot yesterday, and I'm talking to the guy because I need paint. We're remodeling the little guest house. And I'm trying to get paint. And this woman's like, can you talk again? I go, excuse me? She goes, your voice. Can you say something to me? I go, what would you like me to say? She goes, oh my God, it's you. She knew my voice, didn't know my face.
It's you and the corn kid are really recognizable these days.
Dude, you've got you got to reach out. You should be the voice of Home Depot. Take over for Josh Lucas. Do Lowe's. You should be the voice of Lowe's.
Jamie, I don't know if you know this, but Mexicans are usually outside of Home Depot.
Thank God you said it. I was about to
set you up any better. And the show, we just got canceled. I just got a memo. I got canceled. I didn't even say it. That's what's weird. Just because I'm so white, they were like, you did something. You know you did.
Yeah, your dog licks you on the face. You're really.
I mean, I'm sure, I don't remember it vividly, but we had a sombrero in the house when I was a kid in New Hampshire. So I'm sure one Halloween I dressed up as a Mexican. I probably did. I must have. I don't think there was blackface involved, but I remember those days, and there was whatever party I went to, there was somebody in blackface.
The Mexican American is the most unoffended person in America. Like we don't ever get offended, and we're never like, you know, when they took Speedy Gonzalez away, we were like, why?
I forgot they took him away.
Like.
I used to have a bit. I got mugged at gunpoint in 2009, and I had a bit that when the police came in downtown LA, they said to me, they're like, so what is it? The guy that came up, he was Latino, and the person who had mugged me was Latino, and he's like, excuse me, ma'am, can you tell me what the person looked like? And my white guilt, when I was like, he looked like he was a really hard worker from a great family. But ma'am, but what was his
mustache?
Facial features?
Real
I was
thick
like,
mustache.
I was like, he was a Dodgers fan. Like I was just like,
He
I
was a
couldn't
Dodgers fan.
tell the
Yeah.
guy.
That's a telltale sign.
Yeah,
right
he
there.
was wearing a Raiders jersey.
Yeah.
The Raiders are the big one too.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
He just seemed like a guy that came from a culture of hardworking, great people.
Right.
Like just couldn't give a shit.
Dude, do you I remember going to stand-up shows in the 80s and 90s where guys' whole act was stereotypes, like racial stereotypes, and it was just he would destroy. Bobby Slayton would murder, and he would do every bit was about some different race, like
Well, that was good.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say that was the 90s, man. The 90s was all about racial humor and pushing that envelope.
Yeah.
And it was always, Asian people, they can't drive. They can't.
And they go, and they would always say, like, listen, I know it's not right to say, but it's true. It's so true, isn't it? What?
Right. Black guys got big dicks. Like they do. They do.
And
They
they won't shut up at the movies. I mean, come on, we know that's real. Like that was guys made a lot of money off of those jokes in the 90s. Some dudes are living in really nice houses going, yeah, man. Yeah, I used to tell those jokes all the time.
White people walk like this. Black people walk like this.
Now even if you just make fun of yourself, people are like, hey, man, that's not cool. You're making fun of people. But it's me. I'm making fun of me. You're a person too, man. It's just not cool what you're saying.
I've had that happen after a show before. We're self-deprecating, like, because I call myself heavyset, and the thing they're like, you really shouldn't talk about yourself that way, and I'm like, I don't know if you noticed, but I actually am a little on the chunky side.
They just changed Roald Dahl's work. They changed Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. They took the word fat out. Augustus Glump isn't fat anymore. He's enormous.
I do a bit about where I go, and then my fat sister, and then now I just follow it up with everybody relax. She identifies as fat. So that's my.
Oh, that's good.
And people are like, oh my gosh, thank God he said that. Did you? For a second, I was worried about it, but it's okay now because he covered it.
Yeah. I mean, it's ridiculous, dude, and it's gotten to the point where it's just, and even my set, I don't talk about politics, I don't talk about religion. I mean, it'll be one little thing where people are like, oh my God, and I'm just like, but it's one person.
I know.
The whole world is folding for a very small majority. It's unbelievable. It's
crazy. I know.
How about the kid as a joke was crapping on Trader Joe's, and it went viral, and Trader Joe's backed off and stopped making that certain whatever. Some kid made a joke. So
they had something in the name of the product was offensive in a way.
And some kid was literally joking, and it went somewhat viral, and they literally were like, "Oh, we're gonna get rid of that."
Oh, because they changed like Joe to like the whatever the ethnicity, like Trader Jose if it's a Mexican product, or Trader Julio if it's like Italian food or whatever. Was it that?
Something like that. And
I was always like, that's so clever.
Right? Who cares?
People care. That's the problem is people can be heard now. Back in the day, they couldn't be heard. No one had a voice. But now everyone has a voice. Yeah. And unfortunately, they're using it. But it's not a good voice.
But look, everybody's the same. We all wake up and try to survive, right? I'm trying to survive getting my kids to school, being a good parent, being a good husband, trying to pay my bills, trying to get my life going. I don't wake up every day going, how can I suppress somebody?
Yeah.
I really got to take somebody down today. I don't have time.
What's funny, Freddie B was asking how Ricky Gervais is one of my favorite comics of all time.
He's coming in May. Carlos and I are going with
bowl. I know.
Yeah, to the bowl. Carlos and I are actually going with friends.
I mean, I don't know if he gets away with it because that's his shtick, the same way Bill Maher gets away with it, but he gets vilified online. People go after him left and right. He owns it. Same with Bill Burr. Bill Burr gets lit up.
Well, I think the important part is that Ricky Gervais does not care.
He doesn't care.
And he does not care. Truly, I do think that's what sets him apart. Is he will not hear him apologize.
And he's really funny. Whatever joke he says is really funny.
But one of the most beautiful, the Golden Globes, when he annihilated Hollywood.
when he said we were going to do an in memoriam, but it wasn't diverse enough this year.
He was so good. He's a really good joke writer, man.
When he goes, if ISIS started a streaming network, you'd all be calling your agents. So accept your little reward, thank your God, and F off.
And then F off. Yeah, totally. Thank your God, and then F off. Yeah.
It's such a. But
I mean, I keep thinking it's going to turn around and people are just going to go like raunchy, crazy, racist comedies are going to come back. But I don't know if they are, man. I don't know.
Look, I'm going to say it right here in public so that if it happens, I get all the credit. If a group of comedians made a website that was PayPal where you had to pay, and it literally was, we are the raunchiest comedy you will ever see, they'll make millions.
That's true. That is absolutely true.
If they go, we are the most unpolitically correct, no holds bar, everything is here, but you have to pay for it, they would make millions.
I feel like there are guys doing that.
That's
there are comics like that now, and they don't care. They're kind of, there are definitely comics like that.
It should be funny though. That's the other thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
because the people that just try to say shocking stuff just to say shocking stuff,
but I have to disagree, because just because it's not funny to you doesn't mean it's not funny to somebody else.
But you know the difference, Steve. You know the difference when you see somebody do a joke and the room's dead. It's probably not funny in a lot of rooms that way.
I allow almost everything, but when somebody shits on the military, when somebody shits on this country, when somebody talks about child porn or rape, that's where I draw the line. Not funny to me. I get offended. I don't like it. I'm not going to run out and write a report about it. I'm just going to change the channel. However, there's sick fucks in this world that think that is funny.
That's true. I give you that. I'm the same. And honestly, I'm a big fan of like non-censorship, so that what you said I'd change the channel. Why can't everybody just say that and go change like, yeah, man, that's the problem, is that people see stuff and they feel like they have to make a case about it instead of going, no one's making you watch this, dude. Just turn the
channel. It's like the Dave Chappelle thing. There's a million other things on Netflix. Why is your art worthy, but Dave's is not? It's insane. Change the channel.
Yeah.
And by the way, I have so many social media followers, and I read the comments. I have learned the biggest way to stop negative comments is to actually respond to them.
Really?
Like, all the time. I'll get somebody that goes, I just killed my brain cells. This guy's terrible. Worst comedian ever. I'll send him a message and go, I'm a person. Maybe why the negativity? How about you move on? I'm just doing the best I can. Other people like me. And 99% of the time, I'll get a DM of them going, wow, I'm sorry. Didn't think you would respond. When you humanize it,
I agree.
It just seems like that takes up so much of your time. It's putting a lot of onus on you to undo people's. It's not easier for you to just be like, well, that person's miserable in their life.
For the most part, and I'm also lucky that my fans, which I call family, they'll attack them, right? My fans will be like, "What's your problem?" and move on. We like him, But once I humanize them and go, "Hey, man, I work really hard to be a comedian. I might not be the comedian for you. Go find somebody else." It stops. It's unbelievable.
It's a business where like you wouldn't go, "Hey, I went to a concert last night. Who was playing?" "Oh, I don't know. I just went to, it was band. Just band was playing." But a lot of people will go to a comedy show not knowing anything about that comic or watch their comedy somehow.
Right.
And then they don't like it. And you're like, well, don't watch it. Nobody.
But I always equate it to a movie. I don't watch a movie, not like it, and come out and go, I need my $7 back.
Oh, I do.
Right.
That's exactly what I do.
I
did do that.
That
I did that halfway through Lord of the Rings. 90 minutes into Lord of the Rings.
What is actually wrong with you?
I couldn't stand it. I was at the ArcLight. I came out and the guy goes, "The movie's been on for 90 minutes." I go, "It's a 3-hour film, dude. I can't watch another chase battle scene. Got it. And the guy gave me a coupon for another night that
you can't eat 8 of the 12 chicken wings and then get.
Thank you.
And then you find the hair on the last one. You ate 11 of 12. Look at the hair.
Free food.
Oh my God! Hey, listen, this show has flown by. We have to go.
Yeah.
We have to go. Steve, thank you so much for coming to play today.
Well, look, man, I love chatting with you guys. We got to do it again. And, you know, it when you talk about family and kids, it's so much fun because there's so much to talk about, you know.
Yeah.
Please come check in anytime. We're definitely, we'll hit you up to come back again. I feel like we flew by through it. That's why we have other people come in and we're always like, yeah, we're going to talk for a bit and then bring them in. But with Steve, I was like, you're coming in right out of the chute.
Right away. Yeah.
Right
I had a blast and I can't wait to run into you guys on the road or in LA or wherever and break some bread together, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I love having you, dude. Thank you so much. We'll post this with dates or anything. Is there anything you want to tell everyone to come find you? SteveTrevino.com. All your dates are listed. We've been scrolling it below.
You've probably heard my voice on your TikTok if you're of a certain
and go
age.
check out the full specials, dude. It's all on your website. You can find them all. They are just a gold mine of entertainment. I was rolling today. The I Speak wife made me laugh so hard. Really great.
I appreciate you guys so much. Thanks, guys.
I love you, brother. Thanks for coming to play.
Steve, we're all going to be coming through Texas, so we'll be staying with you. Just make sure you don't tell your wife in advance. Thank you.
I would love it if you guys stayed with me. I would absolutely love it.
I actually have to come to Dallas soon. I'm going to hit you up when I come to Dallas. All right.
Later,
Let's
guys.
let Steve go. All right, brother. See you soon. All right. Hey, we got to wrap. Get Mulligan out. I got to put my kids to bed.
I got to put my kids to bed. That's what I have to do.
We have a great show next week. Christine Lakin is back.
Yeah.
She directs the Goldbergs and a million other shows.
She claims that she has a story that tops the horror travel story to Hawaii.
I know that was a crazy one. Also, and I don't know if we scrolled this. We are.
No, I was waiting for you to announce it first.
I forgot to do it at the very top. Well, actually, maybe we'll have to do an announcement and then post this.
Also, Jason, you got cut off. You were saying something in the show. I wanted to go back to that.
Oh,
you're saying something about dogs.
Here's what we're going to do. On March 17th, we're going to celebrate St. Patrick's Day parent style with our very first gig in the metaverse. So grab an Oculus. Hopefully, if the Mulligan's ears just pricked up, we're going to do, we have a parents lounge.
Not on St. Patrick's Day. I would never have agreed to it on St. Patrick's Day.
You're not going to be home?
Of course I'm going to be home. I host our friends every St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, I don't. We're going to go in. You come in for a bit.
We're doing more than just this thing.
This is going to be our first night, St. Patrick's Day night. For all the parents who can't get out, we're going to have a little communal pint of happiness. In the actual, we have a parents lounge. It's built. We have an actual big giant room where the show's there. It's a lodge/stage. So we're gonna meet everybody in person in the metaverse.
So fun.
Yeah, Jason, you should explain that more because I'm probably gonna get sick like 3 minutes into it.
If you do have an Oculus already, you're gonna want to go and get the Infiniverse Multiverse app. From the Play Store or from the Metaverse Store. It's free, and we'll give you instructions on how to get in there once we get that rolling. Yep. But it is already.
And we'll give more info next week. So come in next Tuesday, and we'll have all kinds of details that we'll have to do to get people in. I think I'm going to be someone's going to have to hold my hand and drag.
You're going to have to do Dramamine and then your drink.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, can they see what you're drinking in the metaverse?
No. So you can all come in whacked out of your skulls. You drink as much as you want. I don't know. I mean, you won't throw up in the parents' lounge either. But we have a parents' lounge in the metaverse, so it's built, and it's right now it's scrolling shows. So if you do go into the metaverse without us, just go check out the parents' lounge. And
all the old episodes are there. If you ask, take me to the parents' lounge, it'll take you this mall that looks like a mall, and you just walk up to the door of your favorite episode, and you'll get to watch it on a big IMAX screen.
I gotta tell you, malls are triggering after that last episode of The Last of Us. Just gonna put that out there.
Oh yeah, that was a good one too. All right,
they're all good.
All right, we gotta go. That's it. We love you guys. Thank you so much. Be sure to follow, subscribe, like, bloody ding dong do. We'll see you next week here on the Parents Lounge.
Good night, everybody.